Ahoy hoy to you all, and welcome to Happy Chappy Corner, the I don't know what this is series, but I'm just speaking because I figured I got something to say. So Advent is the start of the new liturgical season, and the liturgical season goes with our lives, like our different periods of our lives, and helps us to be able to live them and celebrate them, and to be able to find the deep sacred meaning within them. And I find it interesting that with Advent we spend all this time for this waiting and preparing ourselves for this birth of perfect love of Jesus, of the Christ, the Savior, that which will show us how to live our lives in forgiveness and mercy and tenderness, and beauty and goodness and all that awesome stuff, to know that that's what we're made for, from the place of knowing that first and foremost God's beauty is within us. And so when we realize what is already there, then we become healed, and then we become healers of others. But right alongside the story of Jesus is the story of Herod. And so you've got Jesus, which is perfect love and acceptance, and when the soul approaches trouble, fear makes us shut in and try to push other people out, and to say you and you're in and you're in and you're out, but perfect love always expands the soul and always embraces and always includes. That's Jesus. And then there's Herod, who has all of the money, who has all of the riches of the world, who has all of this so-called false power, but yet is the most fearful human being ever. And when he hears of another king being born, he gets scared and he gets angry and he orders murder, and everything is contracting, and that only him is in and everybody else is out, and he's the ruler and he's all that is important. And look at all these things that I'm doing, and everybody bow to me. Kind of sounds like we got a modern day Herod somewhere, don't we? Not going to mention names, but insert the name here. Fear cannot breed anything to do with healing. Hate cannot, as you know, Martin Luther King has said, and it's many people have said, hate cannot create anything to do with love. Hate only breeds more hate. And so I think it's quite telling that in our stories, in the newness of this year, it's like you've got this love, this birth, this accepting Jesus, and then you've got Herod, who is all that is fear and all that is anger and all that is casting out and all that is finger pointing. And so you've got these two ways of being. One is our truest self, and one is the temptation of a lot of our society. And it makes sense now when Jesus says in the gospel that it is easier for the camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. It's not talking about money. It's not that having money is bad. It's just that if it encompasses you and all that you are, of whatever your obsession is, if God isn't your number one, and if love isn't your number one, and you are all that is your number one, you're going to be butting heads with that eye of that needle, because those kingdoms all die. There's one king, and so those kingdoms of hate and those kingdoms of anger and none of that will survive. None of that will live. God's kingdom of love and of goodness and of beauty and of inclusion and of opening our hearts and forgiving reality for being what it is, and of wrapping our arms around each other in healing and goodness and beauty. That's where life is, and that's the kingdom that has been and that ever shall be, and where we live and we move and we have our being. And so as we begin this new liturgical year, may you wrap your arms around Christ, and may you live this love and this inclusion and this forgiveness and this mercy. Lord have mercy, Christ have mercy. We say it at church, and some see it as ask for forgiveness because you've been bad. But I see it as with Nadia Bolz-Weber, which is, Lord have mercy, Christ have mercy. Lord, my mercy for myself and for others, this is enough. Please give me yours. And to know and and my love is, I'm having a hard time, but please give me your love that I may embrace all that is life, and to know that these Herods in my life, so these random bouts of anger and frustration and these things are just a footnote to the love that is Christ. And that's another one from Nadia Bolz-Weber, and it's beautiful. So grace and peace and blessings on this new liturgical season. Mwah!